What's up? What's up, y'all? What's up? Looks. What's up? Hey, Monet. What's up? What's up? Evan Tarence.
Mm, 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 mm.
What's up?
What up, though? Dang, my phone won't let me be great. I had it on a tripod and everything.
Oh, wait.
You know, you got to come correct when you on lunchtime with Lauren.
I know. I know. What's up?
What's going on?
Man.
I feel like I'm on Oprah or something. Ooh.
Shut up. You
Mm,
crazy.
mm.
I'm so honored. I'm so honored that you had the time and you busy, Mr. CEO,
The honor is all mine.
Listen, listen, you got 13 jobs, you out here.
I'm at one of them right now
That's what I'm saying.
in a Zoom meeting. That's what they think.
Oh, double dipping here.
You know what I'm saying?
Want to
No,
respect
I'm
your
on lunch.
time.
I'm on lunch. Lunch with
Right.
Lauren.
I was about to say, because it's lunch with Lauren. What do
Exactly.
you have for lunch?
I have Essentia over achieving H2O.
Okay.
What's my favorite thing about what I have for lunch today is the 9.5 pH level
Okay.
that they say this has. They add a little electrolytes for taste.
Just a little bit.
However, essential water, it matches my outfit for the day. Okay. But it is
That's
just
important.
a healthy choice. You know what I mean? I try to drink as much water throughout the day as possible. Um, and honestly, I don't eat lunch really. Um, More recently, I just eat at the end of the day.
And that's why we're here. That's part of the reason why Lunch with Lauren exists, right? It's because one, it holds us accountable to actually eat lunch, right? Grab a snack or actually eat lunch with Lauren.
Do I have
Um,
pistachios in here? I thought I had some pistachios in my office. No, I don't.
well, that's okay. Next time, the sound effects, sir. The the drawer. Listen,
It's adding to the, you know what I'm saying? It's
listen,
adding to the aesthetic.
listen. Turn it down a notch, okay?
What do you have for lunch?
So I actually had Chick-fil-A. I didn't want to rub it in. I know. I'm sorry.
You know that's my thing.
I know. I'm sorry. It
Actually, I wrote a
doesn't.
song about Chick-fil-A.
Sing it. Sing it.
You know, I don't have my piano with me.
Oh, you need
So
your piano.
I do so that you could get the full, what's going on, Chuck? So that you can get the full, piece of the song. So I'll have to
Mm.
share that at a later date.
So I want to reset the room. You use a little clubhouse link. I want to reset the room a little bit. So, welcome everybody that just came in. You are tuning into Lunch with Lauren. If you don't know what that is, it's my show. Actually, it's not really a show. It's a thing
It's
that I
most
just
definitely a show.
no,
It's a
I just
show.
I just decided to do something, every Tuesday and Thursday, where we just kick it, right? I just talked about how it's an accountability feature or thing for me to actually eat lunch or eat a snack throughout the day and to break up our day. A lot of us have been quarantined or working from home where we don't really get that interaction, where we get to kick it with our friends or that water cooler talk with our coworkers. And so we chop it up. We talk about our favorite shows. We talk about some hot topics. Wendy Williams hot topics. That's hilarious. But no, we talk about some fun topics, and we also talk about some things like we're gonna dig into like what it's like to dream big, or really dig into kind of like what we're passionate about. What we'll talk about with you today, Evan, because um we dig into we're a part of a group, YNR Radio, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we talk about that a lot on our show. And I wanted to dig into that topic because I think it's really important. We're all on this earth for a reason. We all have a purpose, and some of us know what it is, some of us don't. But we really want to dig into like what it means to dream big and what it takes. Um, and some of us have to let stuff go. Some of us
Yeah.
have to lean in to certain things, and so we'll get into that a little bit. So, um, Evan, tell us a little bit about yourself. I've kind of hinted towards to it in my little caption. I put Dreamstone
Yeah.
CX, and so people are like, "What? What is?" I mean, we
What
know
is
what
that?
dreams are. What is that?
Right. Right. So, like Lauren said, my name is Evan Tarence. I am a father. I am a husband. I'm a brother. I'm a friend. I'm a son. I'm a lot of things. But in this context, I am CEO of Dreamstone Productions. Dreamstone is a production company that influences culture through music, apparel, and entertainment. And Lauren mentioned YNR Radio, which falls underneath the entertainment division of Dreamstone. Overall, out of all, I'm at work right now. I'm a community school coordinator for Williams Hayden Academy. I also facilitate workshops for diversity and inclusion. But out of all of the things that I do, who I am is a dreamer. What I do is not who I am. Okay, who I am is a dreamer. I'm a cultural influencer, and I just do that in multiple ways. So whether that's stand-up comedy, whether that's a guest speaker at an event, whether it's a musician, an MD, a producer, um, there's different things that I do, but who I am is a dreamer, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So Evan and I, along with three other people, we're part of YNR Radio. And if you are not following YNR Radio,
You
you
need
should do
to.
that right now. And then you should also head over to Facebook and join our community group because it goes down in the group.
It does.
Uh,
What's up, Venetia?
we we talk about some really cool topics, hot topics. I'm gonna keep saying that today. So,
And
but
that's fine.
speaking of, I know you hate the show, but I have to I have to talk about it
Let's go.
because I love so all right. So if you tune in on Tuesdays is usually just me. Thursdays I bring on a guest. So last week, and you can always go back and watch Lunch with Lawrence on my IGTV. So you can watch past Lunch with Lawrence on IGTV. So last week we talked about it with Leah Lachey, and I talked about it on Tuesday a little bit. But y'all, Married at First Sight, and don't let Evan fool you. Evan be watching Married at First Sight,
No,
and
I
he's a
don't.
fan. He
Okay,
is a
let
fan
me
and a
clear that up.
stan.
Let me reset the room on that. Okay. So sometimes when I walk into the house, my wife is watching that garbage. All right. It's on the screen. Who am
It's
I to
not
come
garbage.
in and just make her change the channel? You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not
So
garbage.
I don't like the show. However, it is on in my house pretty often. In fact, she was watching it. Was it yesterday?
Yes,
Yes,
it was,
yesterday she was watching it.
and it
And
was
so
juicy.
I catch pieces of it. What's going on, Mario? I catch pieces of it, but I do not like the show. I do think it's pretty interesting though. Like it's good TV. It's trash TV, but it's good TV. But I'm not a fan of the show at all. Like I don't know what's going on with this dude. And so from the what's been most interesting to me, right, is so this guy signed up for the show, but when he signed up for the show, he was still with this girl. Him and homegirl was knocking boots. She's pregnant, right? But he's already married to this chick. And now they're having this conversation about whether she wants to stay. But here's my thing. When you make that commitment and say for better or for worse, for sickness and in health, I do, you're stuck. And so what I don't like about the show is I feel like they don't really hold the respect and the magnitude of what that really means. Because now she's faced with, she doesn't have enough information to make the decision. She said, I do, not even knowing this man finna bring a whole nother element to this relationship with a child, huh? And that's not fair to her. But at the same time, that doesn't excuse you from the covenant. So now she's stuck. I don't think you can make entertainment out of covenants. That's why I don't like the show.
You can't make entertainment out of covenant.
I don't think you should. Like, yes, there's different nuances to it that are interesting and that are funny, but I feel like marriage is such a high covenant with God. This is my personal opinion, right? That it should not be a joke. And I feel like when you just I have to marry a stranger, what if they ugly and I don't like them? You know what I'm saying? Like, I
But but
just
but the thing about the show is it reveals the surface level, the superficialness of us as humans, right? I think that's what the show is meant to uncover and unveil. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I agree with you that we shouldn't make entertainment out of covenant. You are 100% correct, but that's the reality that there are people out here that do that, and that there should be like we should make a YouTube channel, and we should make a show, and we should take this approach, and like people should watch it and view it from this standpoint. Like, of course the show isn't going to like
right.
have a debrief portion of it, but they're going to show it and frame it how they want. But it should be people that dissect and like critique it from that viewpoint, because like this is a real perspective. But I think that is one of the reasons why that angle sold, and why the network was like, oh, we should totally do a show like this, because you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But it's people out here that marry for that reason. There are people out here that marry somebody because they're cute, that they just look good, but they
And
have nothing up here.
And that's dumb too, but that's their prerogative to figure that out. I feel like it would be better if it was like engaged at first sight, right? And at the end of the 90 days or 120, however many days, you have the option to move forward with the marriage or not. But for me to stand in front of a minister, whoever they have performing this ceremony, and you make a covenant, say, yes, I'm going to make a covenant with this stranger, you're setting yourself up because you don't know this person. You have to figure this person out, and then you add all of these principles that come along with marriage that you have to apply, that you guys might not even be on the same page on it.
You
You know what I'm
see this,
saying?
Evan talk. You see this time about he just changed my whole perspective. Don't let me
Hey,
change your mind. If you like the show, you
that's
like the show.
that's my job. I'm here to influence culture. I'm here to open your mind. Huh?
If you if
I'm here to open your mind.
if you like the show, you like the show, because I like the show, and I'm gonna keep watching, y'all. And if
And you
you
can
haven't
keep
watched the
watching it.
show, if you like the show, you should keep watching, because I'm gonna keep watching. And we're gonna figure out what Mr. Chris do with this
Let me
baby.
tell you this. It is entertaining. However,
Mm-mm.
so is cops, but we know that that's damaging to our culture. You get what I'm saying? So just because something is
Mm.
entertainment and just because it's real doesn't mean that it should be exploited. So for instance, the show Cops, it's very real. The cops are definitely chasing people down, drug addicts, all that, and sometimes the stuff is funny. However, it desensitizes us to the realities of what's going on in our community. I feel like shows like Married at First Sight or all that, there's
Mm.
other stuff like that. I feel like it desensitizes us to the real work that marriage takes. There are people who are going through those things with people they chose to marry, right? And I feel like it's desensitizing us and just normalizing walking away from that covenant. It normalizes the idea of walking away. Go ahead. You're supposed to go.
Me. No, I was reading a comment. Somebody said, he said, I'm gonna keep watching, but he said, remember I said I would go on the show. He said he not no more. I said I would go on the show, and I've actually applied for the show before. I think I would still go on the show, but I think I would go on the show with my own agenda to try to change the, you know what I mean? Like everybody has
Mhm.
their own agenda. I would go on the show with my own agenda to like try to like change the perceptions of the show, right? Like,
Mhm.
so I would go with my own agenda.
I want to say Nicole said that that's what they did in the Bible days. People got married with no info. Now, I think that that is reflective of what the culture was at the time with arranged marriages. It wasn't so much not info. It was more like, let's say Lauren has a daughter, I have a son, and we say, you know what? I know your family. I know what you stand for. You know my family. I know what we stand for. Let's arrange our kids to get together. I think that's different. Well, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that's different than just two strangers coming in and be like, we're going to play around and see if this thing works.
Listen, I am so glad you went down that road, because I was sitting here thinking, I said, oh, I want to talk to Evan about this on Lunch with Lauren, because you would think that that's like, I oftentimes go back and forth, and I'd be like, sometimes I wish that arranged marriages were still a thing, because I probably would be okay with arranged
It's less
marriages because
work.
it's less work, and I think I would trust the people who are around me because they know me. But then people I know um don't don't be acting right, like be trying to throw people our way, and it don't be working out. I'll be like, Evan, you know me better than that. Why would you ever think that that was okay?
So here's the thing about arranged marriages, right? I feel like those are different because somebody said it on here. Arranged marriages you do have more information, right? That is still with the notion of these two families coming together. Like there's still some information there, and the intent behind it is a little bit different. With a show like this, and I said it before, I feel like it desensitizes the real work that it takes to marriage is definitely a choice. And I think we have this romanticized view of what marriage really is. And we think it's just like this whole flowers and I got my partner crying. Like, yeah, it has those things too, but there's a lot of intentionality behind it as well. And every marriage is different. Some people say marriage is hard and stuff like that. I personally don't think marriage is hard. My friend Nicole, we had that conversation. Go ahead, RB, shoot that shot. Me and my friend Nicole had this conversation when we got married. People told us like marriage is hard, blah blah. And I don't necessarily think marriage is hard. I think marriage is intentional, but that's all based on your relationship. I feel like the show takes the values and the principles of marriage and just pees on it. I feel like it's just very disrespectful to what marriage really is. Like I said, it's good TV, but so is Cops. That don't make it right.
Right.
Shout out to RB. That's my man.
Y'all are hilarious right now in this chat. Okay.
Hey. So okay, Lauren. So it seems like you got a couple options here. Well, Aaron, you can go away. You know,
Right, Aaron, what's your issue? Aaron.
first off, where's
Aaron.
Alexis? Number two, you're a child.
I'm
You know what I'm
not a
saying?
child. Don't be
Lauren
doing Aaron like that.
is a whole 28 plus two. Okay, and you just knocking on
Don't be
21's
putting
door.
my age out there, Evan. Dang.
Hey, they got to be good
But
at math to figure that out.
I do got a birthday coming up. Hey,
There you go.
anyways.
You have
All
plans for your
right.
birthday?
I don't know.
I'm saying
No.
you ain't tell me none. If you
I
do, I
don't.
don't know.
I don't have any plans for my birthday.
But we need to figure
Um,
something out.
yeah, I don't have any plans. Um, but all right, let's get into the meat. So I said that today we're going to transition into our true topic at hand. But I saw that to say, y'all, if you are not watching Married at First Sight, you can still catch up. I think you're about 4 episodes behind, but that's okay. They are 4 great episodes.
Can I ask you a
Um,
question, Lauren, about
mhm,
Married at First Sight before we get off of it?
yeah.
Because you said that you would go on the show.
Hmm.
How do you personally justify being a believer and having the beliefs that you have in regards to covenant marriage and things like that? How do you bring that into the show? How do you justify that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Ooh.
So maybe it's something you got to think about, but
I
I
mean,
I just have a hard time seeing you be able to bridge the true, you know, covenant principles of marriage and bringing it into a show like Married at First Sight.
well, I think it doesn't change like what I believe in, number one. Like it doesn't change that I believe that the Lord and Savior, like I believe in the Lord and Savior,
For sure.
you know. It doesn't change like that he's the leader of my life, and like I believe in him and that I would continue to go to church. Like so when I know like there's a questionnaire that you do and they ask you like what your belief system is. They ask you, you know, do you have a strong definite like do you want your spouse to have the same belief system as you? Like is that a deal breaker?
Hmm.
Because I did the application before. So so it would be a resounding yes, that is a deal breaker for me, right? And so I would hope like this is
Say
me
that
putting
again.
all my
Tell me again what the deal breaker is.
like do you want them to have the same beliefs like
Got you. Got you.
system
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
as you?
Yeah.
So essentially, yeah, like I am putting all of my like trust in these experts to pair me with someone.
And that's the problem. You're supposed to put your trust in the Lord. Huh?
That's
First, put your trust in Jesus.
I
Ah,
know
whew.
that's true.
God, I give you praise.
Right. Look, somebody said just cross your fingers when you say I do. I know that's right. Like
I
that's
know we can
I
get off it.
mean
I just
I
can't
mean
see the two.
but that's true. And I think you do need friends. Like that's why we friends. You do
Yeah.
need people that you hang around that like challenges you and be like, okay, Lauren, like you finna do something crazy. I'm gonna need you to really think about this, right? Like, and don't have friends in your corner that be like, all right, girl, let's do this.
And let me say this. Every person that is on, I feel like the entertainment value of the show is exposing these people's character flaws with no context. And I feel like
Mhm.
you're better than that, personally. Everybody has character flaws, but they don't deserve to be portrayed on television like that for entertainment value with no context. Because the way that they're portraying this dude who got the kid makes him a buster, right? Like no everybody out
As
here talking about the show hates this guy.
as that chick Angel's husband said, he's worse than trash.
You get what I'm
He's
saying?
he's the
Because we're
juice
getting no
beneath the trash
context.
bag.
Ugh, that's nasty.
He's
So
like
we're getting
you're
no
worse than trash.
context. We're getting
Right.
no context. And I feel like that's more detrimental to that person. And then they start developing resentment for the person that they were trying to make the marriage work out with. I don't think it works.
Yeah,
Mm.
it is terrible. It is terrible. But I think I mean mentally he's mentally jacked up anyway. I think from
Based on what you've seen, we don't know
no.
the truth.
Well, no. Based on listen, not Evan. Now you know me. I can dig some
You got
stuff
a little
up.
discernment. Yeah.
I got
And you're an
look,
investigator.
I'm an investigator and I've
Yeah.
done some I did my research prior to the show even coming out. I know who the baby mama is. I know she's from Detroit. I know she went to my high school. I know like I listen,
Lauren,
I
you need to work for the FBI.
I'm telling you, like, listen, I know these things. So like I know too much and
Yeah.
I'm invested. So I'm gonna
See,
keep
and I don't
watching the
want people in
show.
my business like that.
So
That's too much.
I know too much. But I
Mm.
mean, I'm just watching it for entertainment purposes and I'm rooting for a different couple anyway. Like I'm just here for the kicks
That's
and giggles and
that's
for the
terrible.
entertainment. But I'm rooting for all the other couples. And I'm
Okay.
praying for Paige. The girl name is Paige, y'all. So if y'all pray at night, just pray for Paige and her mental because this is definitely damaging for her.
She did it
All
to herself.
for because she's on the show.
Yeah.
Dang.
I
Okay.
feel bad. I mean, I'm still empathetic. Like, yeah, it's a terrible situation, but you literally signed up for that. Like when they say, like, dang, you signed up for it. Yeah, you literally signed up for that.
But she didn't sign up to get her life
Yes, you
ruined.
did. That's what happens when you
Oh,
say, I'm going to commit my life to a stranger. I am going to take on this covenant agreement with somebody I don't know. I don't know the baggage that comes along with them. I'm going to take all that. That's what you signed up for. You rolled the dice and you got a crapshoot. I'm sorry. You played Russian roulette and you got shot. Bad.
okay.
Yeah, that's a little harsh. I apologize. But
It is.
that's what
Okay.
happens.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, moving on. So y'all go watch Married at First Sight. Moving on. So, we did an episode and I can't wait for it to come out on YNR. We were talking about like our futures
Yeah.
as individuals and what we see for each other. And a lot of people are in situations or are in positions where we're like, okay, this ain't it for me. I have dreams that are bigger than what I'm in right now. Um, and what do you do in this time of waiting or what do you do in this time where you're like this ain't it like
Mm-hmm.
I have a dream, I have a purpose, I have a plan that's bigger than my right now. um I'm frustrated or I may not be frustrated and I'm like content like and I'll just speak for myself like I'm in a place where it's like I'm not quite frustrated where I am right now, but I'm in a place where it's easy for me to be content and it's
Mm-hmm.
easy for me to get complacent and just sit. And I can stay here forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I know this is not where I need to be or this is not what my purpose and plan is. So like talk to me a little bit about like what it is to have a dream, a plan, a purpose that's bigger than you and like how do you reconcile that with like your right now and your future self?
Yeah.
Like
So that's a that's a really big topic to tackle. And it's something that I'm passionate about talking about, and it's something that I'm constantly learning. Just a few weeks ago, I was kind of on this little kick where I was asking people, like, if money was no object, what would you do with your life? Like, what is your dream? And then for some people, my follow-up question was, okay, so if you know that, why are you not doing it? And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, you said something, you said content and complacent. There's sometimes where we're content for so long that we become complacent. Those are two different words, right? And contentment is not necessarily a bad thing. But
Mm-hmm.
if we become complacent in the level of contentment that we're in, or if we become content in not pursuing our dreams and we become complacent, that's where it becomes cantankerous. Okay. So I feel like when it comes to like our dreams, the way I think about it is I want to make sure that I'm not robbing my future self. My biggest thing for me is I don't ever want to wake up one day and regret that I missed out on all of these opportunities to pursue, what's up, Lux? Pursue, these things that I wanted to do. So there's a couple questions that I feel like you asked. You asked about like timing and stuff like that. So I think when you have a dream and when you know what you want to do and you know who you're supposed to be, you can work towards that. But timing is super important, right? Just because you're ready doesn't mean that it's time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this isn't stuff that I've come up with. I wish I was this smart, but these are things that I've learned from pursuing these thoughts for a while. So, just because you're ready doesn't mean it's time. Let's take a woman who is pregnant, right, getting ready to give birth. At 7 months, she's big, she's tired, her ankles are swollen, her back hurts. She's ready to give birth. She's like, I'm ready to be done with this pregnancy. Like, I'm ready. But it's not time yet, because if she gave birth at 7 months, now that baby is not healthy. The baby didn't spend enough
Mm-hmm.
time incubating the way it was supposed to. So sometimes we have dreams and we have ideas and we're ready to push it. We're ready to make our logo. We're ready to start inviting people to come to our launch. We're ready to send out our Zoom links, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't time yet. The timing was
Mm-hmm.
bad. So then what happens with that timing being bad is now our dream didn't get the right nutrients that it needed to be able to last once we put it out there. And so timing is super important. So for instance, I know that I'm supposed to do Dreamstone and do what my heart, my dreams for my life. I know that for certain, without a shadow of a doubt. But I know now
Mm-hmm.
it's not the time. I need a job that gives me insurance benefits to pay for my wife and my son, right? So I know it's not the timing. So, and then your other question is what do you do? Well, let me finish that thought and then go to the thing. So that
Mm-hmm.
timing part is really important. And I'll recap for the people that are just joining. If your timing is wrong, you jeopardize the health and the integrity of your dream. Like I said, when babies are born prematurely, they're in danger of not surviving. And you don't want your dream to not survive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, too, timing, if you wait too long and you have to force it, that's an issue too. Think about women
Mm-hmm.
who carry too long, right? And then they have to get a forced or emergency C-section. That creates complications for the host of the dream. So if I have this dream or I have this idea that I want to let out and I wait too long to put it out, that's going to damage me, right? So timing is everything. So how do you know when the right timing is? You have to be in tune with the timekeeper. You have to be in tune
Mm-hmm.
with God to know when is the right time for me to pursue what it is that I want to pursue. When is the right time for me to release what I want to release? So that's the timing piece. Now, you asked another question that said, what do you do in that waiting period, that in between time?
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but I have to do this. A couple, over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been asking myself because, so I work, I'm an education professional. I've been working in education for 8 or 9 years now. And I knew that it was something that I'm good at. I'm passionate about it, but I know that my purpose is not to work in a school building. I'm in school right now, so I shouldn't say that too loud. But I've had this conversation where I actually told my supervisor this in the supervision yesterday. It was a brave thing to say, to tell your
Right.
boss, like, I know I'm not supposed to be here forever, but she agreed with me. She completely understood it. And so I get to that in a second. But in that waiting time, you have to learn everything that you're supposed to learn so that when it is time to release your thing or when it's time to move on, you've got what you
Mm-hmm.
needed. But that only works when you're in alignment. So, for instance, I'm at a job now that I know I'm not supposed to do for the rest of my life. I know
Right.
that this is a period of time. And so I told this to my supervisor yesterday, and it's something that I've been thinking about. what am I supposed to learn where I am now that I can use to pursue my dream, or what I can use to, further my purpose. And
Mhm.
the reason why I know that I'm supposed to be here is because I'm learning things that I know I can use in the future. But if I was
Mhm.
working at McDonald's, I mean, I could force myself to try and learn something from there, but that doesn't align with my future. My future is
Mhm.
to continue to influence culture. I work in a building where my
You
job.
influence. It's to influence
Exactly.
littles, right?
Exactly.
People.
My
Yeah.
job is to create partnerships and to create
Mhm.
systems that create sustainability for success for our
Mhm.
students, right?
Right.
I want to do that same thing with culture. So I'm learning things at my job that works for, but if I was out of alignment and I was working next door at Family Fair, I wouldn't be lined up with what I'm supposed to do.
And it works the
Go ahead.
same. It works the same. That if you want to be a doctor, you go be a janitor in a hospital so that you can be in the same environment. You can learn those things. Like, so the systems and the systems at a school are very similar to the systems in the world, right? Because they're built in, they mirror the same kind of structures,
And
right? Like,
even just the principles of
yeah,
creating
exactly.
systems and networking
Mhm.
is stuff that helps me in the industry. So me having to keep in
Right.
touch with the community coordinator at Gordon Food Service so that our hungry kids can have foods is the same principle I have to use to stay in touch with the A&R director at RCA Records to build that
Right.
relationship when I want to get an artist to be on to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
It's
like,
the same. Yeah.
exactly. So I would say that timing is important, and then making sure that you're aligned. And so while you're in that waiting stage, you're learning, you're doing everything that you're supposed to do so that when it's time to launch it, you got what you need. Because there's nothing worse than you building this house and you ain't got no furniture to put in it.
That's
Or
right.
you got this blueprint, but you ain't got no concrete to pour to you know what I'm saying? Like that foundation
Hmm.
has to be solid, otherwise it's not gonna stand.
Yeah. I had made a post on my story. It was like maybe a few weeks ago, and I was sitting at my desk, and I was just like, "All right, Lord, like, what do you want me to do? Like, if you ever feel frustrated, you just ask Lord, like, what do you want me to learn right now? Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
a reason why frustration like brews or exists, because you, like, he wants you to get something from it.
Mm-hmm.
And the enemy wants you to like really be frustrated, so you tune out, or you check out, right? And the Lord
Mm-hmm.
wants you to like lean into that frustration so you can get something from it. So yeah, you were really preaching.
My dad told me something a long time ago, that frustration is misplaced passion. So if you find
Mm,
yourself frustrated with something, chances are there's something in you that's the solution to that issue. There's something in
mm-hmm,
you, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm at school and I'm frustrated that the parents don't get the information and they don't know what's supposed to happen, that means that I have a passion for making sure that things are in order and that people get the information they're supposed to get. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the communicator of that, but I'm passionate about making sure that process is correct. You get what I'm
yeah.
saying? So that frustration is supposed to give you some that the frustration that you feel. You use your emotions to give you data. Um, I've
Mm-hmm.
I've learned over the years that when you feel certain emotions, so me and my wife talk about this often, and I think we agree. I don't remember. Just a second in a meeting. Um, I'm not certain if we agree on this point or not, but I feel like you can't control your emotions. If you get frustrated, you get angry, you get sad, you can't control that. I can't help that something made me angry. I can't help that something made
Mm-hmm.
me happy. But what I can do is manage that emotion. So something made me angry, but I'm not going to let my anger control how I behave. So you can manage that emotion, but you can't really control that emotion came about, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
we need to use our emotions as information gathering, tools to figure out how we're supposed to move. So, like you said, if you got that frustration about something, chances are that's a misplaced passion or misplaced energy that's supposed to be going towards whatever that is that you're frustrated about.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And another thing about dreams is, so more recently, I don't know if you've seen it on my captions, like this thought that I've had is to dream, create, inspire. And it's literally in that order. You have the dream, you have the thought, and you create it, and then you're inspiring others by following that process. But you're inspiring others because they're seeing what you created. I saw something the other day that said, when I look for inspiration, I decide to inspire other people. And it's very true. Like, just by sharing these thoughts right now and what frustrations you might have with your dream or pursuing those is motivating me to, you know, pursue mine even further, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yeah. So what's next for, I know you said like you're not going to be in there forever. I
yeah.
feel like you're in the incubating phase where you're still nursing your baby, your dream. What's what's next for Dreamstone Productions?
So we're going to continue to explain our platform. I think too, another thing about dreams is once you've put it out there and once you started pursuing it, that pursuit doesn't stop because your dream continues to grow, continues to develop, it continues to change, and you have to keep that, right? So think about a garden. When you plant that seed, you water it, and that plant is there. You don't just walk away from it, like, yeah, I got a tomato. No, you got to pluck those weeds. You have to make sure that it's in the right direction. If the container that the tomato plant is in is not conducive to the building, you have to move it. Otherwise, the plant won't last. We had a garden. I think I think it was our kale bush or something like that. I don't even know if kale's a bush, a bunch, whatever. Where
Okay.
it wasn't conducive for it to grow. So half of it was dead, and the other half did well because we didn't put it in the right spot. And I think sometimes with our dreams, like we put it out there. Like I said, we make the logo, we get the website, we start the YouTube channel, and but then we don't dress the garden. We don't maintain it. We don't keep up with it. So
Mm,
the only thing that's next for Dreamstone is continue to pursue what our mission is. The
mhm,
only thing that's next for me is continue to pursue, you know, and it has to continue to change because you have to pivot with what's going on with the relevance of the culture. You know what I mean? So like for instance, with COVID-19, we've had to change so much. Our
mhm,
biggest concert was going to have Todd Galbraith last year for College Night, right? And the I was on the phone with his manager when the governor was like, "We're canceling school for the rest of the year." I was like, "Can't have a college night
mhm.
with no colleges," you know. And
Right.
so we had no choice but to pivot. So then, what did we do? We shifted and we did a MIDI. We couldn't do warehouse sessions, so we brought the warehouse sessions to you with Christmas music videos. You know what I'm saying? And that took, you know, time to change. So you have to shift. So what's next for me should be the same thing that's next for anybody that has a dream, and that's continue to pursue it and continue to um, shift with culture so that you can remain relevant, but also so that your dream survives.
Speaking of shifting with culture, there's this added pressure to keep up with social media, to keep up with trends, and I think a lot of people that are in that incubating phase or that's in that in between phase can get real caught up in this
Yeah,
social media, this trendy phase of like, I know I need to nurse that. I know I need to not jump prematurely, but they got it's stuff happening right now and they,
yeah.
they got a lot of stuff going on right here and I gotta go for it.
Hmm.
How do you not get caught up in what's happening, but knowing it's I got something going on right here, is getting nursed.
Hmm.
I got something. I don't need to jump on the bandwagon. But a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon too soon. And it's messing up the process. So how can you talk a little bit about not
Yeah,
jumping prematurely and staying true to the process?
I'll attribute it to music. And as a music producer, I think about when writing songs or when producing a song, you want to have a sound that is relevant, okay? Um, but at the same time, you don't want to try to follow a wave because just as quickly as that wave came, it's going to crash and it's going to go. Yeah, you got to go with the flow of the ocean, but if you ride that wave, you'll once you start trying to ride waves, you'll never stop. And so it's like you have to remain relevant, but you have to stay true to who you are and be authentic. And authenticity never expires, never. And so what I would say to that is just authentically be you. If you're posting something, don't just post it because that's what everyone else is doing, but post it
Mm-hmm.
because it's authentic. And that's something that I struggle with on a transparent level. That's something that I have a hard time with is being true to myself and not just doing what everyone else is doing because that's a popular thing to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so uh, I was talking to Chris, who helps me produce my YouTube channel, and we were talking about different content ideas and things. And he was talking about how, like, I already on a regular basis commentate videos or I respond in a funny way to videos. He was like, you need to do those side by side things that you see. And my immediate response is like, nah, everybody's doing that. I'm not trying to do what everyone else is doing. So I have to find the balance between being authentic, with myself and my comedy, and still staying relevant to what's going on. Same thing when it comes to music. So if you know me, I love all music, right? And I love total different genres, different decades, different years of music. And I look at groups like the Winans or groups like Commission and how their music is still relevant to the gospel music genre now, which has changed completely. But because they were authentically themselves, that music is still that's timeless music. That music is classic. They didn't ride a wave. They stayed relevant, but they didn't ride a wave. Right now, you've got artists. Same with hip hop, right? You got those hip hop songs that still hit to this day. You play it, everybody's gonna jump. But that hubba hubba hud, the hood, that's gonna go out of style eventually. That's not here to stay. There's no longevity in just riding the wave of what everyone else is doing. But that authenticity of creativity, that lasts. So you have to take that same thing with your social media. Yeah, you can do some stuff that's relevant. You could do that little challenge thing that everyone's doing, but do it the way you do it. Do it what's going to fit your style. You know what I'm saying? I thought about doing that while holding Elijah, doing it in the nursery and doing it, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what's relevant to me and that's what's authentic to me, not
Right.
just riding the. If you start chasing the clout, you'll be running the rest of your life.
I love it. I love it.
Lux is
That's
on
dope.
you.
Listen, Lux has been real needy today. I don't know what's up with my guy.
That's the kind of
Um,
dog he is.
no, he's real chill by himself most days. Today is just a day.
Sure.
Uh, if y'all have questions for Evan or myself, pop them in the chat. But Evan, like this has been dope, man. I
Yeah, it's a
appreciate
lot of
you.
fun. I much rather do this and that's how I know what my purpose is. Because I much rather have a conversation about dreams and to talk to other people about pursuing their dreams and dreaming big than to do my work, which is it's okay, but that's just the timing that I'm in now. It teaches me discipline. I'll say this too about dreams, and a lot of times people like search for inspiration, and it's like one of the things that I've learned, one of the things that I've heard is that discipline picks up where inspiration leaves off. So you could walk
Mm,
away from this conversation and be super inspired to pursue your dream and to do your thing, but if you're not disciplined, when inspiration drops off, it's going to stay stagnant.
look at that question, Ev.
How has your journey with school inspired everything you're working on doing? Here's why that's a funny question, because Shaq is one of my closest friends, and he's been very diligent with holding me accountable of finishing school, and getting this degree. So how has your journey with school inspired everything you're working on doing? So I'll let me talk just okay, I'm back. Let me talk just for a quick second about my relationship with institutionalized education at a higher level. So, um, I got kicked out of college 3 times, and all was for academic performance. But I remember the first time I had got put out of school was because I failed my summer classes. I was trying to rush and get done, but I failed my 2 summer classes. I don't even remember what the classes were, but it was the same summer that I launched Dreamstone. I was in the back of the class doodling the Dreamstone logo. I still got the sheet of paper with all of my ideas of what the logo was. And I remember the day of our exam, what was I thinking? The day of our exam, I come in there with the suitcase and I'm putting labels on Dreamstone CDs because our launch was in 2 weeks. And my professor was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm a record producer and my record label launches in a few weeks and I'm putting labels on my CD." He was like, "Are you going to be able to do that and take the exam?" I was like, "Oh, our exam is today?" Like, I didn't even know. I was just coming to class doing my thing. And so, and I'll say this, I allowed my focus on the dream to um, slow me down from doing the things that could have helped propel me. And so I think sometimes if we don't balance our focus, then it could be more detrimental to the dream. I feel like at this point, me having to go back and finish school, depending on how I do it, that like one of the things that I've been arguing is just feeling like it will get in the way of me pursuing my dreams. When if I did it in the right timing and if I balanced myself correctly, it would have been a tool. It would have been a stepping stool for me. And so my journey with school has really inspired me to do a better job of balancing my focus and my attention and changing my perspective. So I could, if I had the same perspective I had in school that I do at this job, because I was in school and I'm like, I'm not gonna use this degree to be a producer. Like, and I'm at the job, like, I'm not gonna, this is not forever. But I didn't have the perspective of what can I learn right here that will help my dream. And so my journey with school has taught me to change my perspective, my posture, my paradigm, my attitude with whatever environment that I'm in. How can I connect that back to my dream? So I should have
Mm-hmm.
connected school at the time, which I am going to do now. Connect school back to how's it going to propel my dream. I could lose my job if I had the same attitude that I had in school. If I just came in here and was editing Y&R stuff instead of making the phone calls and doing what I got to do, I would get fired.
Right.
And
Right.
so then that'll push me even further from my dream because now I got to find a different job. I don't have no money. I got a family. I had to put my dream on pause because I got to focus on. So if you're not aligned correctly, so again back to the question Shaq asked, the journey has taught me to learn everything that you can in that right timing and connect it back to the dream.
That's a
That
great,
makes
great,
sense.
yes. So
Okay.
school taught you,
Yeah.
and inspiring might be a reach, but it taught you. It learned you.
And I learned the hard way, like Simba
It
said. I
learned,
got the bump to prove it.
right. It learned you.
Yeah,
I
it
love
did.
it. I love it.
It
Thank
really did.
you.
That was a good question though.
Yes.
It was accountability question too, Shaq. I'm not done.
Ah, that's so funny. Well, Evan, I appreciate you coming on Lunch with Lauren.
Lauren, I had a lot of fun, actually. I really did.
We should do this again someday.
I would love to. I would love to. You know how Nick Cannon is on the Wendy Williams show like all the time?
Yeah. You would come back on as a
Absolutely.
reoccurring guest?
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. And because sometimes we have similar beliefs, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
our beliefs are the same, but our perspective on them is different. And so for me, it's
Yeah.
always interesting and fun to have a conversation with an opposing viewpoint, you know what I'm saying, with
Oh,
the
yeah.
mutual respect there. Because a lot of, if you're around people that think the same as you all the time, nobody's ever growing, right? So it's good to be around, just a second. It's good to be around those people who, are not. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah. All right, no problem. Hey, the kids need you.
And that's definitely an adult.
Oh,
But all right, thanks, Lauren.
bye, Evan.
See you.
Well, guys, that that was Lunch with Lauren with Evan Terrence. If you were just joining us, you have to go back and watch. We chopped it up with about Married at First Sight, and that was one heck of a discussion. So if you missed out on Evan's take on Married at First Sight, he's probably going to make you not want to watch the show, but y'all need to keep watching it. Catch up on the first part of the conversation. Join me next week for Tuesday's episode of Lunch with Lauren, and I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, y'all.